My astrology family, Jupiter is finally stationing direct in the sky on March 11, and it's going to continue to move forward to bless us into the areas of our lives where we have the sign of Cancer until June 30 when it moves forward into the sign of Leo. When Jupiter stations direct, the collective energy shifts in a way that ancient astrologers often described as the restoration of fortune. Jupiter has always been known as the greater benefic, the planet associated with abundance, with wisdom, truth, protection, fertility, and the favor of the gods. While Jupiter is retrograde, its blessings turn inward. Growth happens privately in the unseen places of the psyche, and the outward world tends to slow down a little bit. But now that Jupiter resumes the direct motion, any outward facing gifts they all return, and life begins to open in visible and tangible ways. This is why many traditional texts describe Jupiter's direct movement as a period when the heavens give consent, meaning that conditions become more supportive for progress, for opportunity, and positive developments. With Jupiter moving direct in Cancer, these blessings take on a distinctively emotional and intuitive tone. Jupiter is exalted in Cancer, and this means that it functions with exceptional strength and purity. Cancer is the sign of nourishment, of memory, ancestry, and emotional intelligence. When Jupiter expresses itself through this sign, it encourages the expansion of the heart, the strengthening of inner security, and the deepening of one's relationship with personal truth. The ancients viewed Cancer as a gateway between the earthly and spiritual realms, a sign connected to the origins of the soul. With a Jupiter here, the growth that unfolds is not simply external success, but the kind that aligns a person with what is emotionally right, what is karmically meaningful, and spiritually protective. Jupiter directing Cancer tends to reopen the pathways of trust, hope, and inspiration. A lot of people will feel more willing to believe in their futures, more inclined to nurture what they care about, and more confident in their inner voices. The emotional body becomes a fertile landscape for insight and expansion, and intuitive guidance becomes stronger and more reliable. This transit here strengthens compassion and reminds a lot of us of the importance of belonging, of connection, and emotional honesty. It is going to encourage both personal and collective healing by strengthening the heart and creating space for reconciliation, for forgiveness, and renewed understanding. On a practical level, Jupiter moving direct will mark the return of a momentum. Matters that were delayed will begin to resolve themselves, opportunities will reappear, pathways out of stagnation will come into focus, and new blessings will become more accessible. Plans that felt uncertain will gain direction, and people will feel more empowered to take steps towards growth. Jupiter's forward motion also supports education, travel, creative pursuits, spiritual exploration, and the broadening of one's life vision. It often brings beneficial people into our lives as Jupiter governs teachers, guides, and those who offer wisdom or support and are benefics into our lives. From an ancient perspective, Jupiter represents balanced growth. When it begins moving forward, life expands not recklessly but in ways that protect and enrich. In Cancer, this expansion is guided by empathy, by intuition, and emotional clarity. People naturally gravitate towards what brings more comfort, meaning, and emotional fulfillment. They are less willing to tolerate environments that feel cold or unsupportive. This creates a collective shift towards nurturing, rebuilding, and strengthening the foundations of life. So Jupiter stationing direct in Cancer is opening up the luck, the abundance, the possibilities, the opportunities, the good people that want to give a good impact into our lives, that want to support us to move forward. And remember, Jupiter is exalted here. It is very powerful. This can be one of the luckiest and the most powerful times in a 12-year cycle that Jupiter continues to move forward into the sky from March 11 into June 30, that is going to remain in the sign of Cancer. Before you start listening to your sign, remember I'm a Western astrologer and I follow tropical zodiac. You can start listening to your rising sign, your moon sign, and your sign. And as always, please remember to show some support for my channel. It really helps me. It helps the algorithm. You can like, subscribe, and share this video with people that you think are going to benefit from this. If you want a reading from me, remember I have my website linked into the Dropbox down below. You can go over there and look at the readings that I'm offering. And of course, remember I am announcing my ebook regarding your second marriage possibilities. So if that is something that you are interested in, that has been in your mind for a while now, remember you can get my ebook for only $19. Now, without further ado, let's start with analyzing the 12 zodiac signs. Aries suns, moons, and risings. Jupiter finally stations direct on March 11, and it begins moving forward through the sign of Cancer through your fourth house. And it can indicate that any matters regarding home, family, emotional foundations, and private life will start to move forward, will start to progress. You do have a connection between the ninth house, which is the house of higher meaning, long distance travel, education, and legal matters that Jupiter rules. And this combination links your inner world with your broader life direction, creating a few months that can feel expansive, that can feel stabilizing, and deeply significant. So, as Jupiter moves direct, a lot of you will begin to feel a release of stagnation or uncertainty about your home and emotional life. The energy definitely becomes lighter and more supportive, and a lot of you may feel motivated to take changes in your living situation. This is one of the most auspicious periods in a 12-year cycle for moving, for relocating, or upgrading your home. A lot of you may find yourselves drawn to a place that feels safer, more nurturing, or simply more aligned with who you are now. The move could involve more space, it could involve better surroundings, or even proximity to water, which is common during Jupiter in Cancer transits. Even if you don't physically move, your current home can begin to feel more comfortable, more open, or emotionally supportive, as if something inside you has softened and expanded. Again, because Jupiter rules your ninth house, these home changes often involve ninth house themes. A lot of you might relocate because of school, because of training, or a spiritual program, or you may move to a place connected to a foreign culture or long distance travel. A lot of your Aries may experience this as a return to your homeland, a visit to family abroad, or a desire to reconnect with cultural or ancestral roots. In other cases, the changes can come through legal matters such as immigration paperwork or contracts, which tend to become easier and resolve more smoothly during this transit. There is a sense that your living situation is being uplifted by something bigger, a belief, an opportunity, or a vision that reaches beyond your immediate environment. Jupiter's presence in your fourth house also brings a lot of healing and expansion into your private emotional world. A lot of you may feel more grounded, more calm, more supported, and optimistic that you have in a while. Old emotional patterns or family issues may begin to loosen up, making room for forgiveness, for understanding, or new beginnings. Relationship with parents, particularly the mother or the more nurturing parent, can improve during this time. Some people receive help from family members during this transit, or you might simply notice that family interactions become warmer and more cooperative. This can also be a lucky period for anything involving real estate, whether that means buying, selling, renovating, or simply finding the right place at the right time. As Jupiter strengthens your inner world, your intuition and emotional sensitivity grow stronger. A lot of you, as Jupiter continues in the sky in the sign of Cancer, may experience more vivid dreams. You may feel spiritual insights more clearly, or you might gain a sense of a deeper connection to your ancestry or lineage. Cancer is a sign of memory and emotional depth, and Jupiter magnifies this, and it can make it easier to access your intuition and understand the emotional undercurrents shaping your life. Although the fourth house is a private area of the chart, the changes you experience here subtly set the stage for future career developments. The more stable and grounded you feel internally, the more prepared you become for the professional growth that Jupiter will support in later houses. This period builds the foundation, whether it's emotionally or physically, for the next major phase of your ambitions as an Aries. So, from March 11th through early April, a lot of you Aries may feel the shift more strongly on an internal level. Clarity returns, motivation rises, and you begin planning or envisioning changes that now feel possible. Between April and June, until Jupiter enters the sign of Leo, these internal shifts often translate into outer movements such as relocation decisions, family developments, or emotional breakthroughs. By late June, something tends to complete or solidify. A home decision may be finalized, paperwork may conclude, or your emotional foundation may feel decisively stronger. So, my dear Aries, enjoy this life that Jupiter is moving through your fourth house, because Jupiter is still very strong here. It is exalted in this sign, and it can bring a lot of fortunate opportunities, especially regarding your emotional world, your relationship with family members, and housing developments. I wish you the best of luck, my dear Aries. Taurus suns, moons, and risings. When Jupiter stations direct on March 11 and begins moving forward through the sign of Cancer, it is going to reactivate and rebring a lot of luck regarding your third house matters, which is communication, learning, transportation, contracts, siblings, and daily movement, while also ruling your eighth house of your shared resources, intimacy, psychological transformation, debts, and financial entanglements. So, for a Taurus like you, this period creates timeline where your mind, your daily environment, and your relationships with close people can expand in meaningful and emotionally rich ways, all while offering opportunities for healing and progress in deeper financial or emotional matters. As Jupiter gains momentum in the third house, you may feel a renewed sense of curiosity, motivation, and mental energy. Projects that require communication, writing, speaking, networking, or learning can all begin to flow more easily. If you've had any delays with contracts, paperwork, or decisions earlier in the retrograde period, you may now experience clarity and forward motion. The third house is also connected to short trips and local movement, so this period can bring more travel within your region, more activity in your neighborhood, or a busier schedule that feels surprisingly uplifting rather than draining. A lot of you, my dear Taurians, might also be able to buy a car or exchange a car during this time, especially if it's been a process that's been delayed for a while. Because this transit occurs in the sign of Cancer, an emotional and intuitive water sign, the themes of communication and daily life take on a heartfelt or nurturing tone. Conversations become more honest and emotionally revealing, and connections with siblings, with cousins, neighbors, or close peers may strengthen in meaningful ways. You might find yourself talking more about feelings, family matters, or personal experiences, and people around you may respond with warmth and openness. If there have been misunderstandings with siblings or extended family, this transit often brings opportunities for healing and reconnection. If you have relocated recently, then this transit here can indicate a connection that you can be making with your neighbors, with people that live around you, or if you are in an industry that is client focused, it can indicate that this interaction that you're going to have with certain individuals, different clients, different customers on a daily basis can be taken very well, can be expanded. People can take you in a very positive way. Now, with Jupiter ruling your eighth house, the changes happening in your communication and thinking are deeply tied to themes of trust, of intimacy, psychological insight, and shared or complicated finances. Some of you Taurians may find that conversations about money, debts, inheritances, taxes, or shared responsibilities become easier to navigate. Instead of avoidance or discomfort, Jupiter helps you approach these matters with clarity and a sense of emotional maturity. Financial issues that once felt heavy, they may lighten or begin to resolve, and a lot of you may receive support, whether it's financial or emotional, from other people way more readily than before. This connection between the third and eighth houses can also deepen your insight into yourself and others. Your conversations may become more probing and meaningful. You might uncover hidden information, you might understand someone's true motives, or you may gain clarity about your own unconscious patterns. Jupiter brings wisdom to the way you think, speak, and interpret the world, and this can lead to breakthroughs in therapy, in personal healing, or emotional intimacy. On a more external level, Jupiter in the third house can expand opportunities through writing, teaching, speaking, studying, or working with media. Any projects that involve communication may grow in scale or recognition. You may sign an important contract or begin a course of study that influences your long term direction. The daily environment around you becomes way more positive and open, and you may encounter more helpful people, more beneficial people, and even opportunities simply by staying engaged with your surroundings. Again, transformation and technology can really improve during this transit. I already mentioned that some of you might be able to purchase a new car. You may upgrade your devices. You may buy a new laptop, new computer, new microphone, or you might find easier ways to move through your day to day life. Your schedule becomes more active, but with Jupiter's influence, it often feels like an exciting expansion rather than a burden. Internally, this transit enhances your intuitive thinking. For a lot of you, your mind may become more emotionally attuned, and your ability to sense what others feel, even if they don't say it aloud, can grow stronger. Because Cancer blends intellect with intuition, a lot of you may make decisions based not only on logic but also on emotional wisdom. Between March 11 and early April, a lot of Utarians may feel the shift primarily as a renewed mental clarity, increased curiosity, and a desire to reconnect with people in your immediate environment. From April through June until Jupiter moves into the sign of Leo, the activity intensifies. Conversations become important, agreements or contracts move forward, and you may begin short trips or you might be starting a new project that can be very meaningful and very blessed for you. By late June, something connected to communication, little projects, any studies, any certification that you want to be achieving, or simply your relationship with your siblings, or even shared resources that you have with other can really reach a point of completion or stability. So overall, Jupiter moving direct through the your Cancer through your third house can bring a lot of growth in learning, in communication, in daily movement, while simultaneously providing healing and progress in eighth house matters, especially regarding shared finances, emotional truth, and psychological transformation. This period can really bless and bring a lot of luck when it comes to your own voice. It can improve your connections with other people, and it can help you navigate deeper emotional and financial realities with greater confidence and insight. So, for a lot of Utarians, from March to June 2026, it can really be a time where your mind is going to expand more, your conversations will be deepening, and your understanding of yourself and other people will become more compassionate, more intuitive, and more empowering. Gemini suns, moons, and risings. Jupiter stations direct on March 11 finally, and is going to bring a lot of luck our way. But for you, my dear Geminis, it's going to bring blessings, opportunities, and expansion in your second house matters, which rules money, income, self-worth, stability, and personal resources. It is important to mention that Jupiter rules your seventh house of relationships, partnerships, agreements, and one-to-one dynamics. So for a lot of you, this period can be timeline where your financial life, your sense of security, and your personal values can expand in noticeable ways, and these developments can become deeply intertwined with your relationships and the people that you partner with. As Jupiter moves direct, you're going to begin to feel a shift in your financial landscape. Areas that felt uncertain, delayed, or limited during the retrograde can start to open up again. Opportunities to increase income, to stabilize money, or improve your material world can really become more available. The second house rules not only what you earn, but also how you value yourself. And Jupiter's movement through Cancer encourages you to approach both money and self worth with more emotional awareness and confidence. A lot of you Geminis may realize that your emotional security is just as crucial as your financial security, and Jupiter helps you strengthen both sides. Because this transit occurs in Cancer, your money decisions have a strong emotional or intuitive component. You may feel compelled to choose a work that feels nurturing rather than draining, or you may seek financial arrangements that give you a sense of comfort, safety, and belonging. Some of you Geminis may invest more energy into creating a stable foundation, such as saving money, improving your budget, or making purchases that enhance your well being. Even if you don't consciously focus on finances, Jupiter's presence often brings financial ease, increased earnings, or supportive circumstances that help you feel more materially grounded. With Jupiter ruling your seventh house, financial growth during this period is strongly connected to relationships. You have to keep that in mind. You may benefit through partnerships, whether they're romantic, business, or collaborative. A partner's circumstances may improve, and their stability or generosity may indirectly support your own. Agreements, contracts, and one-to-one negotiations can also become smoother and more favorable, and a lot of you may find that others respond to you with more warmth, with more reassurance, or willingness to cooperate. This can also be a time when financial decisions or opportunities originate through another person, or when a relationship moves towards greater stability and mutual support. This transit can also bring growth in the type of people that you attract. Partners or collaborators may be more caring, more protective, or emotionally aware. Some of you Geminis may notice that people want to take care of you, they want to support you, they want to stand by your side in a more meaningful way. If you are single, Jupiter in your second house can also attract someone who values you deeply and wants to invest in your well being, whether it's emotionally, materially, or both. If you are in a relationship, conversations about shared goals, financial plans, or future commitments may unfold with greater ease and emotional honesty. On a deeper level, Jupiter in the second house can also strengthen your confidence in your abilities and your self worth. You may feel more deserving of good things, more ready to advocate for yourself, and more comfortable accepting support from others. This inner shift in self worth directly impacts your relationships because the second and the seventh houses form a natural axis. As your value increases internally, your external relationships become more balanced, more respectful, and more harmonious. You may also find that the emotional tone of your partnerships becomes more nurturing. Partners may show their care in practical ways. During this transit, they can give you gifts, they can give you financial help, shared resources, or they can show emotional reassurance through different acts. Jupiter also enhances the feeling that you are supported materially and emotionally, and a lot of you Geminis may even experience this support through someone very close to you. Career or income opportunities may also involve collaboration, partnership contracts, or clients. If you work in a field that relies on one-to-one relationships and interactions, Jupiter's movement could bring an increase in clients or partnerships that feel both beneficial and emotionally aligned. The key here is that financial growth at this time doesn't feel cold or transactional. It actually feels connected to your heart, your relationships, and your emotional values. So, as Jupiter gains strength from 11 of March to early April, a lot of you Geminis may start feeling more hopeful about money, more confident in your skills, and more aware of your worth. During April through June, until Jupiter moves into the sign of Leo, financial opportunities or relationship developments often can materialize more visibly, more powerfully. A lot of you Geminis might be able to negotiate a raise. You may begin a new job or project. You may deepen a partnership, or you can make significant financial decisions. By late June, something connected to money, value, or partnership can really settle into place, and it can give you a clearer sense of stability and direction. Cancer suns, moons, and risings. You are probably the most excited sign because Jupiter is finally moving direct on March 11 into your sign, in the house of your identity, of your self expression, of your physical vitality, your self confidence, and the way how the world sees you. Jupiter rules your sixth house for you, my dear Cancers. This is the house of health, of routines, of work, of service, of daily responsibilities, and well being. So, for you, my dear Cancers, this stationing direct of Jupiter, the planet of luck and expansion, can create a period of profound personal renewal, of strengthened vitality, and noticeable expansion in both your inner and outer life. The energy becomes more confident, more open, and more aligned with who you are becoming as a person. So, as Jupiter moves forward in your first house, a lot of you Cancers will begin to experience a shift in how you feel about yourself. A sense of optimism returns, as if a new chapter is finally opening up in your life, and you can finally step into it with clarity and courage. You may feel more hopeful, more expressive, and more willing to take up space. Jupiter in the first house, here moving direct, can act like a spotlight, emphasizing your presence and amplifying your aura. Other people notice you more easily. They respond to you more positively and may feel naturally drawn to you without you having to even try. This transit often brings a sense of personal rebirth, a fresh wave of motivation, of confidence, and purpose. Because Jupiter is moving through Cancer, this self expansion is deeply emotional and intuitive. Jupiter expresses in a different way in your sign. It is actually exalted in your sign. So, a lot of you, my dear Cancers, may reconnect with parts of yourself that you outgrew or suppressed. You might feel more comfortable being vulnerable, protective, nurturing, or empathetic, which are traits that naturally belong to you as a Cancer person. Jupiter expands your emotional intelligence and heightens your intuition, helping you trust your instincts more deeply. A lot of you may feel more spiritually guided, more supported by the universe, or more in tune with your inner compass. This transit enhances your authenticity and helps you show up as the most emotionally honest version of yourself. Since Jupiter rules your sixth house, the growth happening in your self expansion and your self expression and identity can be strongly linked to your daily routines, to your health, and to your work environment. Some of you, my dear Cancers, may find that improving your well being becomes a priority and that doing so boosts your overall sense of self. Your body may respond more positively to healthier habits, and you may become more conscious of how your daily choices affect your energy. This can also be a period when you establish supportive routines, where you redefine your diet, or where you commit to habits that nourish you physically and also emotionally. You may also feel more resilient, with a greater ability to recover from stress or fatigue. Any work-related matters can also benefit from this transit. Because Jupiter rules your sixth house, opportunities for growth often appear through your job, through your coworkers, or daily responsibilities. Some of you, my dear Cancers, may receive recognition, you may feel more appreciated, or you might simply notice that work flows more smoothly than before. Your efforts may be rewarded and you may attract tasks or positions that feel more supportive of your personal growth. This can also be a time when you decide to assert yourself more confidently at work, asking for what you deserve, setting healthier boundaries, or stepping into a role that better reflects your abilities. The reason for that is because Jupiter has moved backwards into the sky. It has given you the wisdom that you need, and now that it's going to move direct again, now you have that deeper understanding, that emotional intelligence that you need to take the right decisions, especially regarding sixth house matters, your job, your work, your collaborations and cooperations with coworkers and different individuals that you deal with on a daily basis. So, a lot of you, my dear Cancers, expect relationships with your coworkers and employees to improve, and people may view you as more approachable, warmer, and inspiring. Some of you may take on a mentoring role, especially if it's something that you've been working on when Jupiter was retrograde. Others of you may naturally look like you are the right person that people approach for guidance. Because Jupiter expands your presence, you might find yourself influencing the spaces you enter more easily, including, the workplace or any interactions that you have in your day to day life. Let's say you don't have a job, any interactions that you have with the cashiers where you buy your food, where with the people that sell your bread, where you buy it at the bakery, any individual that you deal with on a daily basis, they're going to look at you in a more positive and optimistic light. On an internal level, Jupiter in your first house also helps you release all old identities or concepts, that no longer reflect who you are. So a lot of you may feel like you are shedding a layer. It can be an emotional one, a spiritual one, or even physical one. And this can be a time of renewed self-love and self-acceptance. A lot of you Cancers may see yourselves with more compassion. You may be recognizing your strength without diminishing them. And Jupiter here is encouraging you to believe in your potential and to embrace your possibilities. So between March 11 and early April, the shift may feel subtle, more like an internal awakening, a sense of readiness, or the return of hope and self belief. As Jupiter gains strength through April and June until it leaves the sign and it moves into Leo, your second house, your outer life can begin to reflect these inner changes. A lot of you Cancers will start new projects that are going to have a lot of success. They're going to be blessed by God, by the universe, because Jupiter is very, very strong in your first house. And here it also indicates that there's a big initiation that you are making. A lot of you will also step into leadership roles. You may even travel more, or you might simply feel more visible and energized. By late June, a lot of you Cancers may feel like you have entered a new personal chapter, one where you are more fully aligned with your values, with your purpose, and your emotional truth. Leo suns, moons, and risings. On March 11, Jupiter is finally stationed in direct in the sign of Cancer, and it's reactivating and rebringing wonderful blessings, good luck, and expansion in all of your 12th house matters, which is related to healing, rest, spirituality, the subconscious mind, endings, intuition, solitude, and the unseen world, while also ruling your fifth house of creativity, romance, children, pleasure, self expression, and joy. So, for a Leo like you, this direct motion of Jupiter can create a deeply internal, spiritually expansive period. One that softens your inner world, one that dissolves old emotional blockages, and prepares you for a major new beginning once Jupiter enters your first house this year on June 30. As Jupiter moves direct through the 12th house, you may feel as if something in your inner landscape begins to open, release, or relax. The fog that may have been present during the retrograde period finally starts to lift, and emotional clarity becomes more accessible. The 12th house is subtle and nonlinear, so the changes it brings are often felt more than seen. A lot of you Leos may notice more peace, more acceptance, and a gentle sense of internal support. This is a house associated with what happens behind the scenes, what you basically don't show others, what you keep private, or what unfolds in dreams or intuition. Jupiter brings light to this hidden realm, and it helps you understand yourself on a deeper emotional and spiritual level. Because Jupiter is moving through Cancer, the process is tender, emotional, and nurturing. A lot of you may feel more sensitive, more receptive, and more connected to your intuition. Old memories may resurface, but instead of feeling overwhelming, they may bring healing or understanding. A lot of you may experience waves of nostalgia or an urge to retreat, to rest, or to recharge. This transit can also indicate that you need to maybe slow down a little bit. You need to take care of your inner world and release whatever you've been carrying emotionally. It can also be a period of soul level nourishment, a time when you refill your spiritual well. Since Jupiter rules your fifth house, the growth happening in your private world is strongly tied to themes of creativity, romance, pleasure, and self expression. A lot of you, my dear Leos, may find inspiration returning in a quiet and organic way. Creative ideas may come to you through dreams, intuitions of moments of stillness. If you have felt blocked artistically or emotionally, Jupiter's movement may help dissolve these blockages. You may reconnect with hobbies or passions that you once loved, or you begin imagining and creating new things that align more with your heart and are taken very positively from other people as well. Romantic healing is also part of this powerful direction of the Jupiter here. You may let go of old heartbreaks. You might let go of harmful expectations or emotional patterns that have affected your ability to fully enjoy love, to enjoy romance, to reconnect with other people in a more vulnerable way. A lot of you may experience a private love story during this transit, often something tender, more meaningful, and quietly transformative. Others of you may heal fears about vulnerability or intimacy, which is preparing you for a deeper connection later in life, actually. The 12th and the 5th houses together often also indicate karmic emotional clearing around love, releasing the past so that the future relationships can unfold with more wisdom, more freedom, and more authenticity. This direct motion of Jupiter can also awaken compassion and unconditional love. A lot of you might find yourselves caring for someone behind the scenes or supporting someone emotionally in a meaningful way. The 12th house represents service that comes from the heart, and with Jupiter ruling your 5th house, acts of care or kindness come with emotional sincerity and love. A lot of you Leos may definitely feel drawn to solitude, to spiritual study, meditation, or retreat. And Jupiter here can heighten intuition, it can heighten dream symbolism and your ability to connect with your inner guidance. Messages can come through dreams, coincidences, or subtle energetic shifts. Some of you may become more aware of your subconscious patterns, not to judge them, but to understand and to release them. This can be an ideal period for therapy, for spiritual work, journaling, or creative expression as healing. So, between March 11 and early April of 2026, a lot of you, my dear Leos, may feel the internal shift first, a softening, a quiet clarity, or the return of emotional and spiritual motivation. Between April and June, the healing deepens, and you may notice the release of old fears, the return of inspiration, or a greater desire to rest and reconnect with yourself. By late June, a lot of you may feel lighter, more grounded, and more spiritually aligned, as if you have completed an important chapter of emotional clearing. So don't forget, my dear Leos, Jupiter moving here in your 12th house in the sign of Cancer is exalted, is very powerful, but it's really preparing a lot of you for a new powerful chapter that is going to start when Jupiter enters your sign. And is going to be there with the South Node. Don't forget that. But we will talk about that transit very soon. But again, you are preparing for a very powerful and deep period of your life, and now it's time to release, to let go, and you're going to have the power that you need, the capacity that you need to be able to make these internal shifts. Virgo suns, moons, and risings. Jupiter finally stations direct on March 11, bringing a lot of good luck, a lot of expansion, a lot of prosperity in all of your 11th house matters, which is about your friendships, your community, your networks, goals, your long-term visions, and social connections. It's important to mention that Jupiter rules your 4th house of your home, of your family, of your foundations, emotional comfort, and private life. So, for a lot of you, my dear Virgos, this period here of Jupiter moving direct and gaining momentum in your 11th house can really bring a wave of support, connection, and expansion through people, and it links your social growth to your emotional world in a deeply meaningful way. This can be a time when your friendships nourish you, your community grows, and you begin to connect with people who align with your heart and your long-term dreams. As Jupiter moves direct, you may feel a renewed sense of optimism about the future. Long-term goals that felt stalled or uncertain in recent months can really appear suddenly more open, more optimistic, more meaningful for you. The 11th house governs your hopes and your wishes, the dreams that you hold for your life. And Jupiter's presence here, especially in direct motion, infuses those dreams with faith, with momentum, and emotional support. A lot of you, my dear Virgos, may feel ready to reach further, to dream bigger, and to trust that your aspirations have a place in the world. This is one of the most expansive and socially fortunate transits you can ever experience in a 12-year cycle. Because Jupiter is moving through the sign of Cancer, your social life can become softer, warmer, and more emotionally connected. A lot of you may find yourselves forming friendships that feel nurturing, supportive, and protective. People may show up for you in heartfelt ways, offering encouragement, guidance, and emotional refuge. This isn't superficial networking. This is actually a time where genuine connection, rooted in care and mutual understanding, can flourish. You may attract people who feel like soul friends or chosen family, or you may grow closer to the people who already provide emotional safety in your life. Jupiter in the 11th house and this direct motion can also bring beneficial alliances. Some of you might meet mentors, collaborators, or influential individuals who help you move towards your goals. Groups, communities, organizations may become important, and you may feel drawn to join spaces where people share your interests, your values, or emotional wavelength. These connections help you not only socially but also emotionally because Jupiter rules your 4th house, blending the energy of home and family with the energy of community and long-term goals. This connection between your 11th and 4th houses is very significant. It suggests that for a lot of you Virgos, your friendships and networks now play a role in your emotional healing and stability. Your social world may support your home life, or you may receive help from friends regarding housing, family matters, or personal transitions. You may also find that the people you connect with feel unusually comforting, like home. They feel like something familiar to you. On the other hand, your emotional growth or changes in your living situation may naturally lead you towards a new community that aligns better with who you are becoming as a person. Some of you may also notice a shift in how you show up socially. As Jupiter expands your 11th house, you may also feel more generous, encouraging, emotional available with your friends, networks, and acquaintances. Some of you may step into a role of support or leadership within a group, or others may see you as someone who brings warmth and wisdom to social spaces. This is a time when people appreciate your presence and want to include you, particularly because Jupiter in Cancer highlights the emotional safety that you offer. The transit can also help you resolve old loneliness or feelings of disconnection. Jupiter softens social fears and it helps you trust in the presence of a community. It may also bring closure to friendships that have run their course, but these endings tend to be gentle and to make space for relationships that better reflect your emotional needs. Long-term goals and dreams can become emotionally charged during this time. So some of you may feel more attached to them, more hopeful about them, and more motivated to pursue them. Jupiter encourages you to imagine a future that feels emotionally fulfilling, not just practical. You may also receive help, sometimes unexpectedly, from friends or social connections who believe in your goals. So between March 11 and early April, you may feel all this shift internally first, a growing desire to reconnect with people. You might have some sort of renewed hope about the future or sense that new possibilities are forming. Then from April through June until Jupiter moves into the sign of Leo, the social expansion can become more visible. Introductions, invitations, friendships, collaborations, or community involvement may increase. By late June, something related to your dreams, to your social world or emotional support system can solidify, giving you clear direction and a stronger foundation. Libra suns, moons, and risings. As Jupiter stations direct on March 11 and begins moving forward through your 10th house in the sign of Cancer, it is going to bring a lot of blessings, opportunities, and good luck regarding your 10th house matters, which is about your career, about your reputation, about your accomplishments, your public visibility, and long term direction. Now, Jupiter rules your third house of communication, of learning, networking, writing, contracts, and daily movement. So, my dear Libras, this period here can mark a powerful professional opening, a time when your voice, your ideas, and the way you communicate directly fuels your public success. It's going to be a moment when doors open, where recognition grows, and your career path begins to move with more clarity and momentum. So, as Jupiter moves direct in your 10th house, a lot of you Libras are going to feel a renewed sense of purpose about your professional life, where things may have felt uncertain, delayed, or stagnant during the retrograde season. You now begin to see forward motion. You might feel more motivated, more ambitious, and more ready to step into a visible role. The 10th house governs your direction in the world, and Jupiter's presence here often brings opportunities for advancement, for promotions, new positions, leadership roles, or projects that elevate your reputation. It's one of the most career expansive periods you can experience in a 12-year cycle. Okay, very, very important period. You need to take advantage of this time that Jupiter is still in your 10th house in Cancer, but now that is moving forward, it brings extra blessings and protection your way. So, the energy for a lot of you Libras, especially around your career, can become deeply emotional, intuitive, and heart centered. You can be drawn towards work that feels meaningful, nurturing, or protective, something that resonates with your emotional values. You may project warmth and empathy publicly, making you more appealing as a leader, as an advisor, or collaborator. People may trust you more. They may view you as someone who cares or naturally look to you for guidance. In some cases, for some of you Libras, your public image can become softer and more approachable while still gaining strength and visibility. Since Jupiter rules your third house, your growth in career and reputation is strongly tied to the way how you communicate. Your words carry more weight now, whether they are written, spoken, or expressed through teaching, presenting, social media, or daily interactions. You may find that your ideas gain more attention, your voice resonates with others, and your ability to articulate your thoughts becomes a key to your success. Important conversations may take place that shift your trajectory. For some of you Libras, this transit can bring career growth directly through writing, speaking, networking, or signing significant contracts. This connection here between your 10th and 3rd houses also suggests that your relationships with colleagues, peers, or local networks can become more important. You may meet someone through your daily routine who plays a pivotal role in your professional advancement. You might also travel more for work. You might handle more communication heavy responsibilities, or you can become involved in projects that require coordination, planning, or intellectual collaboration. Jupiter helps these interactions flow more smoothly, and it opens doors through the people you communicate with on a regular basis. In your daily life, a lot of you Libras may feel busier, but in an invigorating way. Your schedule may fill with meetings, messages, interviews, or professional conversations. Instead of overwhelm, a lot of you Libras might feel mentally energized by this surge. Jupiter supports your ability to handle increased communication with confidence and emotional intelligence. Because Cancer is a sign connected to home and family, your public life may also intersect with your personal world. Some of you Libras may take on responsibilities that help your family, or your career decisions may also be shaped by emotional motivations. Some of you might even gain public attention for roles involving care, protection, housing, well being, or emotional leadership. Regardless of the specifics, this transit is supposed to strengthen the emotional backbone of your public identity and the way how the world recognizes you. So, between March 11 and early April, the shift may feel more like a subtle return of ambition, clarity, and professional direction. As Jupiter gains speed, opportunities begin to manifest more clearly, whether through promotions, job changes, public recognition, or important communication that advances your career. From April through June, the external effects become more visible. You may complete significant projects, receive praise or support from higher ups, or you may step into a role that aligns more closely with your long term goals. By late June, when before Jupiter moves into the sign of Leo, something connected to your public path can really reach a point of completion, of success, or stabilization. Scorpio. Scorpio suns, moons, and risings. Jupiter is finally stationing direct in the sign of Cancer on March 11, and it's marking the restart and the beginning of an important forward moving cycle for your ninth house matters. A lot of you Scorpios are going to enter a period where your worldview, your long term direction, your spiritual beliefs, education, and sense of possibility all begin to expand in noticeable ways. The ninth house is the part of the chart that governs growth through experience. And when Jupiter wakes up here, doors that were previously closed or simply unclear, they begin to open up again. You may feel as if life is giving you a clearer signal to think bigger, to reach further, and to move in a direction that aligns more deeply with your belief systems. Since Jupiter also rules your second house of income, resources, self worth, talents, and stability, its direct motion here in the ninth house forges a strong connection between your sense of purpose and your financial life. This can be a period when your money flow and earning opportunities can definitely improve through ninth house avenues. Working involving international connections, long distance communication, higher education, teaching, publishing, content creation, law, or spiritual guidance may become more fruitful. You may either receive an opportunity in one of these areas, or you may begin to recognize that your long term purpose and your financial future are intertwined in ways you had not previously noticed. Confidence in your abilities can also tend to grow under this direct motion here, allowing a lot of your Scorpios to value your skills more fully and to make wiser, more grounded financial decisions for the future. Jupiter's presence in the sign of Cancer adds an emotional, intuitive, and protective quality to this expansion. Let's remember that Jupiter is exalted in this sign and it loves to be in this sign. Learning can become emotionally meaningful for a lot of you rather than simply intellectual. And with the forward motion here, you're going to have the intuition and the sharpness that you need to be able to absorb information quickly. A lot of you could feel drawn to study subjects that nourish your soul or connect you to a deeper sense of belonging in the world. This transit may also inspire a lot of you to explore spiritual teachings, philosophical systems, religious traditions, or cultural perspectives that help you feel more grounded in your identity. If you have been questioning your path on your beliefs, Jupiter's direct motion can bring a lot of clarity, comfort, and renewed sense of faith. Travel definitely becomes another major theme. If you have been feeling compelled to explore places far from home or engage with people from different cultures, you can definitely do so under this period because traveling can really be enriching and emotionally healing, and it can help a lot of you gain insights that directly shape your future direction. Even if you do not physically travel, your world expands through exposure to new ideas, new people, or new opportunities that broaden your horizons. Connections with mentors, teachers, or people at distance may also play a significant role in guiding you forward. We have to remember that Jupiter is going to remain in the sign of Cancer until June 30. So, if you have any of these things that you've been wanting to do for a while, you definitely have an open window to do it as Jupiter continues to move forward in the sky. This transit also brings the potential for a formal step forward in education. You may pursue a certification. You may have a good luck, a lot of prosperity if you decide to do so. A lot of you Scorpios might even feel inspired to begin or complete an academic program, or you may commit to learning something that will increase your earning potential. The link between your ninth and second houses can suggest that maybe expanding your knowledge now will be directly connected to greater financial stability later. It becomes clear that an investment in your growth and in your knowledge is also an investment in your personal income and your finances. Emotionally, this period can also provide a sense of renewed hope. Jupiter in Cancer restores faith not through logic, but through emotional reassurance and intuitive affirmation. A lot of you Scorpios may begin to feel that life is supporting you again, especially after a period of uncertainty, of delays, or introspection when Jupiter was retrograde. If you have been wrestling with doubts about your direction or your financial situation, the fog definitely begins to lift. Legal matters, immigration processes, academic issues, or long-term goals that felt stalled since Jupiter's retrograde, they may suddenly begin to move forward again. So, generally speaking, Jupiter moving direct in your ninth house can realign a lot of you with a sense of purpose that affects your earning power, your confidence, your worldview, and your future trajectory. Sagittarius suns, moons, and risings. Jupiter, your chart ruler, is finally stationing direct in Cancer on March 11, and it's activating an important turning point for a lot of you because Jupiter rules you, it rules your entire chart. When your chart ruler moves forward again, you feel as if life begins to move with you instead of against you. Since this direct motion occurs in your 8th house, the themes of intimacy, of shared resources and finances, psychological depth, transformation, and long-term commitments, they all become more active and expansive. The 8th house is a deeply emotional and often hidden part of the chart, so Jupiter's momentum here can bring growth that happens on the inside first before showing up externally. A lot of you may begin this period with a heightened awareness of your inner world. Old fears, old insecurities, and emotional patterns that have been restricting you, they may all loosen up their grip. Jupiter has a way of shedding light on what has been buried, and when it stations direct in your 8th house, a lot of you can gain clarity around situations or emotions that felt confusing or heavy during the retrograde. This can lead to emotional breakthroughs, improved psychological resilience, and a renewed sense of personal empowerment. You may notice that your intuition becomes sharper and your emotional intelligence strengthens, allowing you to navigate situations with a lot more confidence and a lot more self love and self worth. Because Jupiter rules your first house of identity and self direction, whatever happens in the eighth house during this time has a direct influence on how you see yourself. You may feel that you are undergoing an inner rebirth or shedding an old version of yourself. Your perspective on life, on relationships, boundaries, and vulnerability shifts in ways that make you stronger and more self assured. This period can help you reclaim parts of yourself that you had suppressed or avoided, leading to a deeper and more authentic expression of your personal identity. Financially, this transit can also bring important developments. The eighth house governs shared resources, debts, taxes, loans, inheritances, partner income, and financial support from external sources. So, Jupiter moving direct here can unlock resources that were delayed or stalled earlier. You might receive financial help, you might navigate more favorable terms, or you may become involved in a shared financial arrangement that benefits you and brings you a lot of prosperity and luck. A partner's income may also increase, or you may receive support that helps you stabilize or improve your long term financial picture. This transit can also encourage a lot of you to invest more wisely, to pay down debt, or to restructure your finances in a way that puts you in a stronger position. Intimacy and relationships also deepen under this transit. You may grow closer to someone emotionally, spiritually, or sexually. Jupiter in the eighth house encourages vulnerability and trust, making it easier to express your deeper feelings and connect more authentically with other people. For some Sagittarius risings, this transit can mark a turning point in a committed relationship or the beginning of a bond that feels profound and transformative. The energy invites emotional openness and the possibility of healing old relational patterns. So you might be going under psychological improvement as well at the same time. Spiritually, this can be one of the most powerful periods of the year for you. The eighth house governs the mysteries of life, the unseen realms, and the transitions that shape the soul. Jupiter's direct motion here can awaken your fascination with the occult studies, with astrology, psychology, or spiritual healing practices. You may feel guided to explore subjects such as energy work, divination, astrology again, or therapeutic modalities that help you understand the deeper layers of your existence. Insights gained now can really shape your worldview and contribute to your personal evolution. My dear Sagittarians, it's important to remember that Jupiter is going to remain in the sign of Cancer until June 30, and then it's going to move into the sign of Leo. And Jupiter manifests itself in the most powerful way when it's in Cancer. So if you have been focused on improving your financial situation, especially by making money through other people's money, this is the time for you. From March 11 to June 30, you're going to have an open window that can bring a lot of profound inner growth, a lot of financial restructuring, and emotional transformation. Capricorn suns, moons, and risings. Jupiter is finally stationing direct in the sky, and it's bringing a noticeable shift in your relationships and partnerships. Jupiter is transiting still your seventh house. So, for a lot of you Capricorns, this transit is going to bring one-on-one connections, romantic partners, business partners, clients, and long-term commitments to the front focus. When Jupiter moves forward here, your relational life can become more active, more open, and more expansive. Connections that were stagnant or uncertain, they begin to move again, and the people around you may play a more important role in shaping your entire life direction. This period here encourages you to grow through your relationships. You may feel more willing to open up emotionally, to trust others, or to allow someone closer into your life. Because Cancer is a sign connected with emotional safety, with nurturing and understanding, Jupiter's direct motion brings a softer, more compassionate tone to your interactions. You might find that supportive people enter your life or that existing relationships become more cooperative and harmonious. If there have been any misunderstandings or emotional distance, this transit can help bring more clarity, more healing, and reconnection. Since Jupiter rules your 12th house, the energy of this transit has a private, spiritual, and karmic undertone. The 12th house governs the unconscious layers of the psyche, hidden emotions, past cycles, and the ways in which you retreat from the world. As Jupiter moves direct in your 7th house, themes that were previously buried in your subconscious, they may begin revealing themselves through your relationships. A lot of you Capricorns may recognize old patterns, fears, or avoidance behaviors that have shaped your connections without your awareness. This creates an opportunity for profound healing, especially in partnerships where emotional vulnerabilities have been difficult to address. Some of you might also attract relationships that feel faded, karmic, or spiritually significant from March until June 30 of this year. People may appear in your life who act as teachers, mirrors, or guides, often without either person realizing it first. These individuals can help a lot of you understand yourselves more in a more deeper way, and they can help you break cycles that no longer serve you. For some of you Capricorns, a partner may help you release emotional burdens or confront past experiences in a gentle and supportive way. For others of you, this transit can mark the beginning of a partnership that feels both emotionally rich and spiritually aligned. On the practical level, Jupiter in the 7th house can bring opportunities through other people. Some of you may connect with someone who collaborates with you professionally, who opens a door for you or helps you navigate a situation that was previously challenging. Business partnerships or client relationships can grow during this time, and you may feel supported rather than isolated in your goals. The 7th house also rules contracts and agreements, so some of you may enter into an important commitment, or you may be renegotiating terms in a way that benefits you. It brings more prosperity and more luck your way. The influence of the 12th house suggests that your relationships during this period have a healing effect on your inner world. You may find yourself more willing to be vulnerable, to share private parts of yourself, or to acknowledge emotions you usually keep hidden. This transit can dissolve old fears of intimacy or dependence, allowing a lot of you to build connections that feel more authentic and emotionally fulfilling. You may also become more aware of how you project your private struggles into others, and you may begin correcting these patterns with more compassion and with a desire to heal. If you have been carrying emotional weight from past relationships, Jupiter direct in the 7th house can help you release those burdens. Forgiveness, either for yourself or someone else, can often become easier, and some of you may even experience closure with a past partner, while others might find that now you may be ready to approach relationships from a healthier and a more open-hearted place. So, my dear Capricorns, from March 11, 2026 until June 30, you have an open window to experience a lot of growth through partnerships, through emotional openness, and spiritual healing. And because Jupiter rules your 12th house, the benefits can often arise quietly or subtly, but they're going to become more visible over time, especially after Jupiter leaves the shadow period from April until June. You may emerge from this period with a stronger ability to connect with other people. You may have deeper emotional awareness, and you may have a renewed ability to let others in. Relationships will definitely become the avenue through which a lot of you will heal, will expand, and step into a more compassionate version of yourselves. Aquarius suns, moons, and risings. Jupiter is finally stationing direct on March 11 in the sign of Cancer, and it's bringing movement and renewed momentum into your daily routines, your health, your work environment, and responsibilities. Because this transit activates your 6th house, you begin to notice more activity, more opportunities, and expansion in your everyday life. The 6th house governs the structure of your days, the habits you maintain, the people you work with, and the systems that either support you or drain you. When Jupiter moves forward here, life begins to feel more manageable, more purposeful, and more productive. You may feel as though you finally have the energy or clarity to improve your routines and to create healthier patterns. This period often brings growth in your work life, whether through new projects, increased responsibilities, or opportunities to refine your skills. Jupiter in the sixth house tends to make work feel more meaningful or at least more abundant. If you have been waiting for movement on a job related matter, such as a hiring process, a change in responsibilities, or support within your team, this direct motion can provide the shift that you've been waiting for. You may feel also more appreciated or more in sync with coworkers and supervisors, especially in ways that highlight your reliability and emotional intelligence. Because Jupiter rules your 11th house, the developments happening in your daily life now are closely intertwined with your long-term visions, your friendships, and social circles. What happens in your work and routines influences your future direction. You may find that your job connects you with new people, it introduces you to a new community, or helps you build networks that support your aspirations. This is a transit where teamwork, collaboration, and group efforts can all flourish. You may discover that your goals feel more reachable because you are now surrounded by people who believe in them with you. Friendships and social connections may also begin to blend with your daily life. You may grow closer to friends through shared routines, through mutual support, or common projects. Some Aquarius people may become more involved in group activities, in charitable work, or community efforts that require practical commitment and regular involvement. These connections can help strengthen your sense of belonging, and they can help you align with people who share your values and your vision. Jupiter's presence in Cancer also makes this growth emotionally nourishing rather than overwhelming. You may feel called to take better care of your health, not out of pressure, but because it feels intuitively right. This can be a period when you develop healthier habits, where you improve your diet, where you address stress, or you find routines that help you feel grounded and protected. The sixth house also rules the body's rhythms, and Jupiter's direct station often brings renewed motivation to create order, consistency, and emotional stability through your daily chores. Some of you may become more aware of how your emotional well-being directly affects your productivity and physical health. The connection between Jupiter, your 11th house ruler, and the 6th house can suggest that some of you will experience shifts in your mental habits, your friendships, or your social environment in a way that impacts your health in noticeable ways. Improving your relationships, strengthening your support system, or aligning with communities that uplift you may indirectly improve your vitality and the way how you feel about your health, your physical body in general. This transit here from March 11 to June 30 until Jupiter moves into the sign of Leo can really bring individuals and people that are going to be helpers into your life. You might find supportive coworkers, you might find helpful professionals, or people who offer guidance in areas where you felt overwhelmed. You may become more organized or more capable of handling responsibilities that previously felt chaotic. Jupiter here encourages a lot of your Aquarius to trust that you do not have to navigate everything on your own, but you can actually be supported by individuals, people that you deal with on a daily basis, whether they are your coworkers if you have a job, or people that you interact, let's say at the grocery store, at the local store, at the gym, and things like that. So, my dear Aquarians, Jupiter here in this direct motion from March 11 into June 30 is going to initiate a period of improvement, of stabilization and expansion in your everyday life. Work can become more aligned with your aspirations, health can become a priority, and your daily environment can really become a place where emotional nourishment and practical support coexists. And remember, Jupiter rules your 11th house, so each change that you make now, however small, can really move you closer to the future that you envision for yourself. This can be a time when taking care of the details really strengthens your path towards some sort of long-term success or a long-term dream and goal that you've had for a while now. Pisces suns, moons, and risings. On March 11, Jupiter is finally stationing direct in the sky, which indicates a very important turning point for a lot of you because Jupiter is your ancient ruler after all. There can be a beginning of a warm, creative, and uplifting period for a lot of you because this transit is activating your fifth house, your creative expression, your romantic life, your joy, your passions, and sense of playing, which will all begin to expand again. The fifth house is where you feel alive, where you feel confident, inspired, and free to express your authentic self. When Jupiter moves forward in this part of your chart, inspiration returns, motivation increases, and you feel more connected to the experiences that make life more meaningful and more enjoyable. Since Jupiter rules your 10th house of career and public image, the energy of this transit links your personal joy with your professional growth. What you create, what you love, and what you express becomes directly tied to your career trajectory. This period often brings a surge of creativity or renewed passion that influences your professional life in a very significant way. Projects that you begin now, they may become key stepping stones towards future recognition or some sort of authority. You may feel more visible, you may feel more appreciated or more confident in your public role because you are becoming somebody that has a genuine inspiration and somebody that everybody else can look up to. Creatively, this transit opens you up. A lot of you Pisces will feel drawn to artistic pursuits, to hobbies that maybe you've abandoned for a while when Jupiter was retrograde, or new outlets that allow you to share your talents more openly. If you work in a creative field, Jupiter direct can bring fresh opportunities or greater recognition for your work. Even if your career is not artistic, your creativity still plays a major role in how you present yourself professionally. A lot of you will feel more excited to take more risks, to speak with more confidence, or to bring ideas to the table that reflect your personal style and your emotional truth. Romantically, this is one of the most supportive Jupiter transits in a 12-year cycle. The fifth house rules dating, romance, and affectionate connection, and Jupiter's direct motion here can bring a feeling of openness and emotional generosity. If you are single, you may attract someone who is warm, nurturing, and emotionally expressive. If you are in a relationship, the connection may deepen through shared joy, through affection, or through renewed emotional closeness. There is a sense of emotional safety woven into romance during this transit that can definitely make it easier to enjoy the experience rather than overthink it. The fifth house is also the house that rules children, inner child healing, and parts of yourself that crave joy, play, and spontaneity. Jupiter in Cancer fosters emotional healing through pleasure and creativity, so a lot of you Pisces may reconnect with parts of yourselves that you had pushed aside due to responsibility, due to stress, especially in the time period that Jupiter was retrograde in the sky. Simple pleasures feel more meaningful here, and activities that you once loved, they may feel revitalizing again. This transit also teaches you that reconnecting to joy is not a distraction, it is actually part of your growth. Since Jupiter rules your 10th house, anything that brings you joy now has the potential to positively impact your career. You may feel clearer about the direction that you want to take, especially after Mercury moves direct in the sky. So I would say after March 20, you're going to get more clarity. And there can even be a career opportunity that may arise that is connected to creativity, even to children, to entertainment, teaching, performance, or leadership roles that require a personal touch. You may be recognized for your talent, for your authenticity, or the emotional warmth that you bring to your work. If you have your own business, a small business, then Jupiter moving direct here can bring clients your way, customers. People can find you more optimistic. They can find you with a lot more wisdom. And they can look up to you and ask you for advice, for guidance into their life. It can be a very blessing period to grow your business, to bring more clients and customers your way. Emotionally, this transit also lifts your spirits. A lot of you Pisces may feel more hopeful, more optimistic, and inspired than you have in months. Remember, this direct motion of Jupiter in Cancer is going to last from March 11 to June 30, and then Jupiter is going to move in the sign of Leo, and is going to be in an opposition to Pluto. So the dynamics are definitely going to change. But during this time period from March 11, and I would say maybe from March 20, that Mercury is going to move direct until June 30. There's going to be a period that can bring a lot of romance, a lot of emotional warmth, and also renewed confidence for a lot of you Pisces. And remember, because Jupiter rules your 10th house, everything that you cultivate now can feed directly into your long-term goals, into your legacy, and what you want to leave behind in this world, your public success, the way the world views you, and the way how other people will remember you. So this transit can definitely remind a lot of you that your career grows when you allow your heart and your passion to lead the way.